Chapter 16, Digynians, Part 3, Superfamily Schistosomidia, Morphology. When you look at the morphology of the schistosoma, the genus, you're going to see that of the three species we're going to be focusing on in this series of lectures, Masoni, Japonicum, Hebotnium, that they have the same generalized physical morphology as you see here to the right. That morphology is such that there's going to be a difference between the male and the female. When you compare side by side the three species of interest for us, you'll see that there are some fine differences. Tegmental papillae, small, large, smooth, basically absent. The overall size, the length is really not going to be that much difference. I mean, 10 to 15 millimeters, 20 to 12 to 20. They overlap so much that it would be hard to use that as a definitive means of diagnosis. When you go and you start looking at the metabolism, though, that's where you start to see a lot of differences. Look at this. Hemobotnum, 20 to 100 eggs, averaging 50. Whereas Mansoni is a few at a time. Japonicum, 300, averaging 50 a day. Not total, a day. So when you look at it, the males are going to be shorter, more stouter, thicker. Okay, they're going to have what is referred to as the gynecophorial canal. Okay, that's that smooth groove you'll see there. That literally, that's where the females will insert themselves into and be housed there. So that way, wherever the male goes, the female goes. You're going to have a mouth surrounded by strong oral suckers. It's going to be used for adherence, but it's also going to be used for pulling in cells and tissues. Because remember, these guys are going to feed not only on red blood cells or the blood cells that are flowing by, they're also going to be feeding on the epithelial tissues that line, the endothelial tissues that line the capillary beds. No pharynx, so it's going to be the muscles of the digestive system doing their version of a peristalsis, and the very muscularized, sucker, the muscles around that are going to be pulling these cells in. So when you compare the two, see the male is the lower of the two here. You see that the male is shorter, stouter, thicker, and has that canal. The female is going to be longer, thinner, so it can fit into the canal, that groove, and can extend out of it, both anterior end and posterior end. You're going to see the normal, what we've talked about in previous lectures: Mealy's gland, ovaries, vitelline ducts, oviducts, and the uterus. The genital pore you see here, you're going to have the sperm exit out here, enter in there. So it can enter into the uterus so that it comes into contact, goes up the uterus, comes into contact with the oocyte that's coming down through, the ovaries and down through the Mealy's gland. So they'll meet. You get the zygote that will then get the egg encapsulation, those layers around it, from the Mealy's gland and the other glands, and then out.